Hello and welcome to Queer at Last. I'm Harriet, your friendly local classicist and museum person.
And I'm Catherine, and I'm not those things.
Each episode will be talking about a different museum artefact to uncover the stories of queer life and love that surround it.
If you'd like to see the artefact we're talking about today with your own eyes, you can see it at our Instagram. It's queer_at_last. And as ever, all our content warnings can be found in our descriptions.
Catherine, we're back, baby.
We're back, baby. It's good to be back. We went on a bit of a hiatus that we didn't say anything about because of life.
Yeah. You may have noticed that we have been absent for, I don't know how long at this point, and we don't need to specify it.
Or you haven't noticed, and that's just a big hit to my ego.
Yeah, or you don't care at all. We have had a little bit of a hiatus because we have had stuff going on, but we are both very excited to be back. We have some exciting things coming up over this summer, which we probably won't say anything about now, but maybe we will at some point. We didn't discuss this before recording the episode.
We'll just tease you.
We'll just do a little tease. So, not only am I excited to once again be talking to you, my dear friend Catherine, since we don't interact unless we are on mic recording.
I'm afraid this is the only contact I'm willing to have.
Carefully portioned out. I'm excited because this week we are talking about a topic I am so hyped about. Is this the reason that we did the podcast in the first place? Maybe, who can say? This week we are talking about Tove Jansson, who you may be familiar with as the author of The Moomins. She also did a lot of other very cool stuff. She was like a great painter and a writer, and she wrote books for adults, books for children, she does satirical cartoons, and I love her so much. And
the Moomins, are those the little hippos?
Yes, Catherine, I'm so excited. Okay, now is a good time for you to open up the picture. Okay. And have a look, and also tell me what you know about the Moomins, because I have no idea. I don't know if we've discussed this before.
So I'm seeing a sort of fantastical, whimsical poster of a bunch of characters from the Moomins, which I do recognise, and it's got like a sort of Scandinavian language around it, and it's just all of the creatures sort of partying with this cool painting, and one of them's holding a sign that says Tove Jansson on it, and some other words I don't understand. And it's just whimsical and cute. Now, to answer the question about what do I know about the Moomins, I know they were like a sort of cartoon strip. I have mugs and stuff with them on it. I know lots of cool posters and stuff with them on it. I haven't actually read too much of it, but they're very cute.
Okay, Catherine, I'm going to lend you... In fact, I will send you a photo of my recording setup for this episode, because my mic is stacked on, I would say around 20 books that I have that are all Moomin books / Tove Jansson books. I have so many. I didn't realise till I was assembling this how many I actually have. But I will absolutely lend you some. I love the Moomins. I loved them ever since I was a kid. I think a family friend introduced us to them, and I really loved them. I thought they were so cool. And then I found out a bit later on that the author Tove Jansson was queer, and there are a lot of kind of queer themes in the Moomin stories themselves, which was just a really nice validating, just when it works out like that one of your favorite formative bits of media, and you're like, oh my god, it was queer all along.
Oh, that's sweet.
We should probably talk about what the Moomins are. The Moomins are characters made up by Tove Jansson, who was a Finnish author and illustrator. They are very distinctive looking creatures. They're actually really hard to describe because they're so kind of weird and fantastical. And
very distinctive style as well, I think.
Yes, yeah. Moomins themselves are a species that are the ones that look like sort of hippos with big snouts. The main character is Moomin Troll, and he lives with his parents Moomin Papa and Moomin Mama in the Moomin house.
Cute.
And the Moomin family are the main characters in the story, and then there are lots of other random creatures like Sniff, who is a little gremlin, the Hemulins wear dresses and love collecting things and sort of wander around. There's little Mai, who lives in a cutlery drawer and bites people and is really sort of grumpy. It's a whole sort of varied cast of characters, but the main family are the Moomin family, who are Moomin Mama, who is very sweet, very lovely, very funny, puts up with what her family does, and it's just very long suffering, like yes, of course, dear, where like sort of making jam in the background while Moomin is floating upside down around the room, things like that.
Okay, cool.
Moomin Papa, who is like a very he had an adventurous life when he was younger, and he's like, oh, come on, we must go to and live on this lighthouse. And then Moomin Mama's like, okay, dear, whatever you say. And they have a really great relationship with each other.
Yeah.
And then Moomin Troll, who is very sweet, he's quite petulant, and he is sort of the main character that we experience the world of. Moominvalley.
Moominvalley, cute.
Yes, yeah. And it's very cute, and I would highly recommend checking it out.
I really want to, actually. This I will be asking to borrow those books.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. If I had realized that you like didn't know them at all, I would already have forced you to read them. And to talk about this artifact, actually, so this is like you picked up on it, it's a poster. It's painted by Tove Jansson, and it's a poster for a play of the Moomins, because the Moomins started off as comic strips, and then she published illustrated children's books with them in. She made some plays, which she sort of wrote, and she designed the set for it, and she painted the set for it as well. And the reason that I picked this one, this is the first play that was put on. It was put on in 1949, and the director, which you can see on this poster, the director was Vivica Bandler, who was actually a woman that Tove had a relationship with.
So this is a poster for a play directed by her
girlfriend,
partner,
her lover
of the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, it's really cool. And yeah, Tove and Vivica had kind of a bit of a tumultuous relationship. Vivica had a husband and also other female lovers, and Tove was quite jealous. But so the relationship didn't sort of work out for them, but they did stay friends. Afterwards, they stayed good friends, and sort of creatively they partnered up as well. And it was actually Vivica's idea to make the Moomins a play. Vivica kind of really pushed for it. So yeah, so I picked this because it has a lot of things in. It's got obviously that, and also some of the characters. It's got Moomin and Snufkin, who we will be talking about in this episode, don't you worry.
I mean, I know which one the Moomin is, but I don't know which one Snufkin is.
You don't know which one Snufkin is?
No.
Catherine, how have we been friends for as long as we have, and you have not, like...
I didn't know there was required reading for this friendship.
There absolutely is. There absolutely is. Snufkin is the guy in the hat with the sign that
You'll
says,
need
like...
to be more specific than the guy. Oh, yes, with the sign. Yes, okay.
Yes, yeah. Snufkin is my absolute favourite character. When I went to a Pride in Pisa, the sign that I made was Snufkin holding a sign that said "Be gay, do crime."
Be gay, do crime. I remember this.
Yes.
Okay, I remember
Yeah.
Be gay, do crime, and now my brain is coalescing into a picture of Snufkin on the sign.
Yeah, we will get into Snufkin later. I've saved him till last because otherwise I'll just spend the whole episode talking about him.
Okay.
But these are two characters that have a very strong relationship with each other and have queer undertones that have been picked up on very, very strongly.
Yeah.
So they're in here, and also at the top, can you see the two people with green snouts?
Yes. Okay. So there's like two people with sort of green, almost like trunk like noses in little white dresses, and one of them has a handbag, and they're sitting together, and they're quite similar, and they're holding hands.
Yes. So these two are in English. In the English translation, they're called Thingamy and Bob, but in the original, in Swedish, their names are Tofslan and Vivslan, which are the nicknames that Vivica and Tove used for each other.
Oh,
so it's really
a
cute.
bit weird that one of them got the name Bob in the English translation. I know it's whimsical and whatever, but it does feel like they've pushed on a male gender onto one of them by calling one of them Bob.
You are absolutely correct. No, you are absolutely correct. They were both gendered female in the original stories, and then in the English translation, one is gendered female, one is gendered male. Like explicitly in the pronouns they use and everything. So they did very much heterosexualize them.
Yeah.
Yes. In these two whimsical characters in this children's story, because that's the world that we live in. Yeah, because in the original, Swedish works as a language. They are, the diminutives are both feminine. They are both gendered feminine, whereas when someone translated it to English, they changed that. Although weirdly, when it got translated into another language, they both ended up as male. So they did a full 360, I guess, through the full spectrum of relationships. The other thing about these two is that Thingamy and Bob are... Actually, I'm going to call them their original names, because why not? Tofslan and Vivslan they first appear in one of the books, Comet in Moominland, and they appear together. They are inseparable. They have a secret language that only they understand, which is, at least in the English translation, which is obviously the only one that I've read, it's kind of a swapping letter thing. So like, milly old souse yourself. They swap around the letters of words. So you have to kind of think for a little bit to figure it out.
Like pig Latin.
Yes, yeah, basically. And this language is reminiscent of a secret language that Viv and Tove used when they wrote letters to each other. They also used
a secret language to write letters to each other.
Oh my god. I didn't even pick up on this, Catherine. You're so right.
Mad.
It's a theme.
It's a theme.
We should write a thesis on this.
And have you also seen the Enigma Code? Prominent gay computer scientist Alan Turing. It's a thing. Okay, actually, no. He didn't actually make the cipher. It was the Germans. I'm going to cut that out.
I mean, he was a cipher guy, you know.
He was a cipher guy, yeah.
He was a cipher guy.
It is a theme. There was nothing more gay than ciphers. You can quote me on that.
And it makes sense. It makes total sense. We should do an episode on this.
In case you don't listen to these episodes in any order, we're referring to the fact that Gentleman Jack used a cipher to write her diaries, and we're also potentially referring to the fact that Harriet's wife also uses a cipher to write their diaries. It's the gayest thing in the world.
Who was the other one as well? Hans Christian Andersen as well.
Oh yeah, his wasn't that complex.
No, his was more of a substitution, an easily crackable code if you were so inclined.
Through making being gay such a societally ostracized thing, what society has done is naturally conditioned gay people to be incredible at ciphering.
Yep.
At making codes and at making them the best spies in the whole world.
Yep, true. It's a necessity when you live in the world that we live in and that these people have lived in, which is kind of sad when you think about it, but also let's focus on the cool code, the cool cipher.
Yeah, it is pretty sad to have to be secretive, but it also speaks to, I think, the strength of persisting and that it basically finding a way around it.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah, we were talking about the fact that
I fully lost the plot.
We were talking about Tove and her girlfriend having a secret code, and then we went berserk.
Yes, and then we lost.
And then I blacked out for 5 minutes, and here we are.
Okay, right. Focusing back in on Tove Jansson. So, as you can see, just from sort of the exploration of this particular artifact, there are a lot of queer themes that can be picked up on in her work and her life. So, just to quickly introduce her a little bit, which I probably should have done at the start, but this episode was always going to be slightly chaotic because I love the Moomins so much. She's actually Finland's most widely translated author, apparently, which is really cool. Like the Moomin stories are, they have like a global reach. They have been translated into loads of languages. There have been numerous sort of TV shows, adaptations, plays, and actually during Tove's lifetime as well, there are some cool pictures of her with like Moomin puppets and like Moomin costumes and things like that. They sort of started to become a phenomenon in her lifetime, which I think is really interesting. But despite the fact that she's most well known for the Moomins, she was very creative in a lot of other ways. She came from like a very creative family. Her mum was an illustrator as well, and actually at the age of 15 she started drawing for Garm, which was a satirical magazine at the time, which is kind of she's a nepo baby because her mum, that's the magazine that her mum worked for as well.
Yeah, sure.
But from a young age she was very creative, and this Garm in particular was like an anti-fascist magazine, so it did a lot of satire, sort of political satire.
Yeah.
And Tove in particular did a lot of anti-fascist and political work. And she said she liked being able to be swinish towards Hitler and Stalin, which is, you know, a cool,
iconic.
We love to see. We love to see.
Love to see it.
She's done she did some paintings. She painted murals as well, sort of large scale paintings on walls, which are very cool.
Yeah.
She wrote prose books for adults as well as the illustrated novels for children. And her books for adults are actually very good. I haven't read all of them, but I've read a lot of them. And one of them is about sort of a female couple. Wow. I've just completely blanked on a normal way to say that.
A lesbian couple?
Yeah, thank you.
My God. We got it on tape of you literally forgetting the word lesbian.
The word lesbian. It's been a long time, Catherine. What can I
female
say?
Couple?
Oh God, this is...
What just happened? Are you having a stroke?
I don't know. Clearly this illness is worse than I thought. It's fine. We'll be deleting this. It will never see the light of day. No one will ever know. Right, Editor Catherine? No one will know.
I cannot tell you anything with more certainty than that will make it into the episode.
God damn. Why do I bother?
Sorry. I hope you're feeling better soon, by the way.
No, it's fine. So one of her books for adults is about a lesbian couple, and a sort of older lesbian couple, which is thought to be very modelled on her and her life partner.
Is her life partner different to the director partner?
Yes, yep. So
Okay.
Vivica was the theatre director. She was, the first woman that we know of that she fell in love with. So Tove was bisexual. There was a man that she loved called Atos, and I think they remained friends. I'll be honest, I didn't look too much. I didn't really look into their relationship because
It's none of my concern.
Exactly. I was like, on this podcast, it simply doesn't matter.
Good. Another great clip.
Yeah. Just that's a joke, and that's not how I feel. And bisexual people are valid. So Tove was in love with both men and women throughout her life. The first woman that she fell in love with, she wrote to her friend about it, and she said it's really sweet. She said, "Something has happened to me that I realise I have to tell you about. I'm so happy, so elated and relieved. You know, I feel like Atos's wife, and I expect I always shall." So Atos is the man that she was in love with. "But what has happened now is that I've fallen madly in love with a woman, and it seems to me so absolutely natural and genuine. There's nothing problematic about it at all. I just feel proud and uncontrollably glad. These last weeks have been like one long dance of rich adventure, tenderness, intensity, an expedition into new domains of great simplicity and beauty." Which is just so lovely.
God.
It's so lovely.
She's like, It sounds like she's just found her place, like, in the world. Like, it just literally sounds like everything is just slotted into place for her.
Yeah, and I'd love that she is just absolutely, like, categorically like, this makes me so happy. Everything, like you say, everything makes sense, and it's an exciting adventure. It's like the joy of realising that, you know, whereas you thought you were only attracted to one gender, suddenly, like, worlds have opened up in front of you, and you realise that, you know, there's more.
Wow,
so that was really, that's
soundbite.
really sweet. Yeah, it's really lovely. And that was about Vivica, who is the theatre director who, like we spoke about at the start, and worked on the Moomin plays with her. So the relationship didn't last very long because Tove was quite sort of... Tove didn't deal very well with the fact that Vivica had other lovers and a husband, which, honestly, understandable.
Fair, valid, you know.
Yeah, but they did remain friends, and they did the play together was in 1949, and they first met in 1946. So, you know, they did sort of remain close and able to work together despite their romantic relationship not lasting.
Yeah, I hope it was amicable if they were able to work together.
Yeah, no, I think it was. And then in 1955, Tove met the love of her life, like her life partner, Tuliki Piatila. I've pronounced that really badly, probably. So Tuulikki and Tove remained together for the rest of their life. They were life partners and they lived together. And the way that they met was at a Christmas party, and apparently they were both by the gramophone because they both didn't want to let other people put music on. They both sort of had records, and so they were kind of fighting over the gramophone, which is how they met. And we have some of Tove's letters to Tuulikki, which are really, really sweet. One of them, she says, "I feel like a garden that's finally been watered so my flowers can bloom," which is just really lovely. She just seems to state it really really matter-of-factly. Like, she says, "I love you as if bewitched, yet at the same time with profound calm, and I'm not afraid of anything life has in store for us." Just really, really lovely and wholesome. And she also, I think from this point on, she talked about herself as if she was like a changed woman. So she said that she had finally gone over to the ghost side, which is that's what her and her friends used to mean like being a lesbian. So ghost,
the ghost
they use
side.
the term like like a ghost or a spook to mean like being in love with another woman, which is
an interesting
cool.
word to choose. I mean, yeah, it sounds cool.
I know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's a translation. You know, if it has more nuance in translation. Yeah, saying "gone over to the ghost side" just sounds so cool. We should try and bring that back into vernacular. Like,
what's your orientation? Well, I've gone over to the ghost side. I hope that answers all your questions.
I won't be elaborating. Goodbye. They lived together for 45 years in sort of adjacent studios in Helsinki, which is also the setup for the book that the novel that she wrote about two women like in a relationship were also in two adjacent studios. So that was very clearly sort of heavily drawing from her experience of her relationship with Tuulikki.
Yeah.
But their living situation is so cool because during like winter, they lived in Helsinki, and then during summers they lived on an uninhabited island that they moved onto, and they built a house on, and they just lived there on their own over summer.
Holy shit.
It is the lesbian dream, honestly. Like, when I found out about this, I was like, I have one goal in life, and it is to move to an uninhabited island in the Gulf of Finland.
God. And build your own house.
Yeah, it's so cool. So her brother and her friend helped her build like this cottage, and then they lived together during the summer. They would arrive to the island in May and they'd leave in September, and they would sort of fish there, work there, they would have parties there. And this island also features in another of her books for adults as well, sort of this kind of life, this really crunchy granola life. I know that there's a normal way to describe that, but I'm struggling to come up with it at the minute.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Like, it just feels like a thing that would happen when you realize that you can get whatever you want from life. You can go outside the norms and you can choose your own path and live however you want to live. You don't have to live in the way everyone else says you have to. To the extent where you live with, well, first of all, like a woman, like that would be completely out of the bounds of what people expect you to do, and build your house on an island.
Yeah, fully living their best life, just out on the island, chilling. There's a book called Notes from an Island, which is a combination of Tove's writing and her partner's illustrations and drawings sort of from that island, which is really cool. It's not a story or anything, it's more just a collection of their kind of experiences from the island, which is really good and really nice, and I would recommend checking it out as well.
Her partner's illustrations, Tuulikki's.
Yes, so her partner, yes, I should have said her partner was also an artist and an engraver.
Oh, cool.
You can see that she has very strong creativity, and what am I trying to say, Catherine?
She has a type?
Yeah, I guess she has a type. She also sort of, people that she loves and is in relationships with, they are also very creative, and they often like work together on things. So I just think it's a really interesting, she has a very, very, very artistic view of everything and creative view of everything. I think it clearly shows in all parts of her life.
Yeah, amazing.
Which I think is really cool. Like I said, she used ghost or spook to refer to lesbians, but she also used the word mimla to mean having sex. I'm not sure if Mimla means something else in Swedish. Like, let me have a look.
Just seems to be a name. That's fun. Imagine your last name meaning sex in Moomin talk.
In Moomin talk. Because one of the characters is called Mimble, actually, which is like from the word Mimla. She used Mimla to mean like having sex, and also kind of it could be used as a noun or as a verb, and it could be applied to like lesbian and heterosexual sex. So there is an amazing parody song that someone found in Tove's archives. It's like a parody song that she did, and it was in a folder called Joyful and Improper, and the paper was called Mimla Vision to All Small Ghosts. So obviously like that's got like Mimla and ghost in there, and it's basically about her having sex with women. it's some of the lyrics. In fact, wait, let me send you this. I'm hoping that you could maybe we can play a little bit now.
Okay.
This is someone performing it, someone who was the one who discovered it when researching, and we will put a link to that in the episode description. Yeah, if you just like skip to the middle of this or something, just to get a vibe for what it sounds like.
Okay.
Vimmel, mimlor, mimmel, vimmel, spök för mimling, all för spöken, allt vad ni vill. Titta vi mimlar mitt i salongen, 10:e gången, mimlar i köket, hej lilla spöket, 200 gånger, mimlar på natten, 2000 gånger, mimlar på vatten, 3000 gånger, mimlar på magen, härliga sånger, alls ingen ånger, titta vi mimlar.
This is my favorite, the mimling in the kitchen. Look how, oh yeah, I should probably... just to clarify, so some of the lyrics are, look how we mimble in the kitchen, mimbling at night 2,000 times, mimbling in water. And she also talks about pussy quite a lot as well.
Incredible.
So just, yeah, like she was just out here making lesbian parody songs.
Mimbling on the stomach, lovely songs, no regrets at all, look how we mimble. See the position, sock to the right, bag to the left, bra in the ceiling, moonshine on the floor. Oh my god.
Like, imagine going to a party with Tove Jansson on the uninhabited island in the cottage that she built, and she just like whips out an accordion, she played accordion, and just starts like performing this parody, this lesbian parody song. Like, it would just be the best. I just want to be friends with her so much.
Oh my god, so iconic. Wait, so she was a musician as well?
Yeah, she played accordion as well, and she wrote songs. Like, she wrote some love songs to Vivica. I think she wrote some to Atos, and she wrote kind of songs for her friends as well. There's this person, Klingenberg, who was a researcher who sort of started looking through Tove's documents and archives and found loads and loads of things that she had, like songs that she'd written. Which and she kind of like performs them. I think that was the performance that we played a clip from was from a kind of Tove Jansson convention, and she kind of like performs them in the way that Tove would have, and it's just really cool. Another thing about Tuulikki is her nickname was Tuuti. She was an inspiration for a character in the Moomin books, Tuutikki, who appears in one of my favourite Moomin books, which is Moominland Midwinter. Which is I should also say, if you haven't come across the Moomins before or read the books, they are very complex, and they are children's books, but they are not written for children, if that makes sense. They have a lot of underlying themes about sort of like depression and living, and they're very surreal. Like there's something about them that is so, I think is why they're so compelling to adults as well as children, because they are just very
it's a bit existential.
Yes, yeah, very existential. And particularly this book, which is, as we all know, Moomins hibernate over winter. They eat a meal of pine needles so that their stomach is coated in pine needles, and then they curl up in their little house and they hibernate over winter, which happens every year. But this year, Moomin wakes up, and Moomin Mama and Moomin Papa aren't awake, no one else is awake, and he can't go back to sleep. So he wanders around, and it's basically him exploring this world, this wintry world that he's never sort of encountered before, and everyone there is kind of strange. It's it's very melancholy. Like, he's quite lonely, he feels out of place. It's a really nice allegory for feeling sort of lost in your life, and it's a very, very good book. And this character Tuutikki is a a very like wise, calm character who is there and who guides Moomintroll through it. And she's very kind to everyone as she sort of shows him how to be in this world. And it's how Tove saw her partner as very kind of like a very grounding, stabilizing, calm influence.
That's so sweet.
And it's just a really, really nice like homage to her partner, I think. Like this character. She's very wise, she's kind of funny, and she just feels really, you can just feel like the love that Tove had for her coming through in the character, which is really nice. And also a quick quote from the book that Moomin realises at the end. He says, "There are lots of things that have no place in summer and autumn and spring. Everything that's a little shy and a little rum. Some kinds of night animals and people that don't fit in with others and that nobody really believes in. They keep out of the way all year. And then when everything's quiet and white and the nights are long and most people are asleep, then they appear." So that kind of sums up what I've been trying to get across with this book, which is it is very much about people who don't fit into society having their place in their time, and Tiki is the one who is there to like guide them and introduce Moomin to this world, which I think is very interesting when you think about their relationship. So finally, Catherine, I'm going to talk about what we've all been waiting for, Moomin and Snufkin.
Okay.
So Moomintroll, like I mentioned at the start, is the main character in a way. He's very kind of earnest and petulant and just lovely, just lovely. And Snufkin is Moomintroll's best friend. Snufkin is like a little guy with a backpack and a green pointy hat and a green kind of smock. And he is a free spirit. He's a wanderer. He lives in a tent. He doesn't sort of believe in having possessions. He has 24 adopted children that he rescued. And he like hates authority. He sort of hates people putting up fences. Like his nemesis is the park keeper, because the park keeper puts up fences around the park and says that people can't go on the grass, and this is against everything Snufkin stands for. So he gets arrested.
The more you're talking, the more Snufkin sounds like you.
Okay, this is Snufkin is like, I'm probably 90% Snufkin. My personality, my
Cut me, I bleed Snufkin.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god,
like,
I'm now
getting
seeing. Sorry. I'm sorry. I just keep yelling.
No, go.
I'm literally seeing your Discord icon. Is that Snufkin?
Yes, that's
I've never recognised what it is. They're just a little guy sitting down in a sunset, but it's Snufkin.
Yeah, it's Snufkin. Vin drew him for me.
That is so
and my
cute.
WhatsApp profile is Moomin with a knife. So, I contain multitudes.
There are two wolves inside you. One of them is Moomin with a knife, and one of them is Snufkin.
Yep, literally me at all times. So Moomin and Snufkin are best friends. They have a very strong relationship, which has been interpreted by lots of people as a homosexual. I should mention Moomin also has a canonical girlfriend, Snork Maiden.
Snork Maiden?
Snork Maiden.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible name.
Moomin and Snufkin are best friends. Every winter, Snufkin goes away and leaves Moomintroll behind, because Snufkin he can't be in one place for too long. He gets itchy feet. He starts to feel constrained, and Moomin the relationship dynamic is that Moomin loves Snufkin so much and is very he wants to be close to him all the time. He wants to do things with him all the time. Whereas Snufkin also loves Moomintroll, but is much more. He's by nature, he's very kind of free, and he's fairly unattached to to people and things. One of his things he says is, "You can't ever be really free if you admire somebody too much. I know." So that's his kind of philosophy. Whereas Moomintroll absolutely loves Snufkin, idolizes Snufkin, is very, very sad when he goes away.
Aww.
And when he leaves, Snufkin leaves letters for Moomintroll to read and comfort himself with.
That's so cute.
It's so cute. And when he comes back, like the iconic sort of image of the two of them is when Snufkin comes back. Snufkin also, he plays harmonica, and he sort of whistles and he makes up spring tunes. And Moomin will hear Snufkin's like harmonica and hear the spring tune, and he will like rush downstairs and run out to meet him. And they meet on the bridge. Normally, there's a bridge that they are pictured sort of sitting on together. And yeah, it's a very kind of iconic moment of them meeting again. On this bridge, and it's just so cute. And they are not canonically like in romantic love with each other, but they are read like that by a lot of people, especially considering like Tove's sort of life and the other themes in Moomin. There is definitely something there. And I love Moomin and Snufkin very, very much.
I suppose they don't have to be canonically together for people to find resonance in their relationship from whatever you get from it. Like when I do 100% definitely end up reading these books, I might get a lot from, I might see it as platonic, and
yes,
I might see my own platonic relationships in this, and how like tender and kind they can be, but other people might see romantic relationships and see that reflected in them. I suppose it just depends what resonances people find in these like characters.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is that a strong platonic relationship is also just as meaningful as a romantic one. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be romantic in order for it to matter and have resonance. So like you say, people can interpret it in different ways, and it's all valid. Because the Moomins are so popular, there's a lot of kind of literature around it, and there's a couple of sites, like, I can't remember what it's called, it's called like moomin.com or something like that, that have sort of loads and loads of content, and they have a thing that is like, they're talking about Moomin and Snufkin and how people have interpreted them like that sort of throughout the years, and how, you know, people draw fan art of them, people dress up as them. It's sort of really lovely that it's such a meaningful thing.
Yeah.
Because it's such a sweet relationship, and again, it kind of echoes a little bit, I think, Tove's own relationships, because like her relationships weren't simple, if that makes sense. Like her one with Vivica, where there were sort of other people in the equation, and there was sort of change between the two. I think it's really nice that for a children's book, it's a very complex relationship that's presented.
Yeah, there's many layers to that, isn't there? Because from the outset, someone's saying, "Oh, I don't love you enough to stay with you all year," but it's deeper than that. It's like it's a relationship that finds its way around the needs of both people.
Yes, exactly. And it's in the book that she wrote about two women in a relationship, the book for adults. They have quite a similar, they have a sort of relationship that has a bit of distance in it as well. Like they live in adjacent studios, and there is a bit of tension there between wanting to be together but then needing their own space and that kind of thing. So I think that is clearly something that also resonated with her.
So many relationships do benefit from that, from space, from just seeing each other when they want to see each other. Like, obviously, not every relationship, like many relationships thrive off of wanting to see each other all the time, but having like space and absence making the heart grow fonder, and only meeting when both of you want to see the other, I think can be really beneficial to some relationships.
I think you're right. And also it's sort of more of a non-traditional idea of relationship. That sort of the idea of relationship that is fed to us is that, you know, you have to be each other's everything. You shouldn't have this idea of like people not liking their partners having friends, like and things like that, whereas actually it's very healthy to have lives outside of each other. And I think it's nice that it is portrayed as a very valid relationship, as opposed to, you know, being somehow lesser because of the fact that they both need, you know, they need their own space, and that they have they have different lives as well as when their lives intersect. I just love the Moomins, you know.
I'm beginning to love them.
They are so cute.
They're so whimsical and cool. Okay, now it falls to me to make a limerick.
But while Catherine's working on this, we will maybe have a quick chat to you about a new thing we have lined up.
Hello, dear listeners. It's Catherine and Harriet from the past here, and we need your help.
So every episode we start with a queer artifact that we use as a jumping off point to talk about LGBTQ plus history, and we're always looking for more. This is where we need you. Do you have a queer historical object that you want more people to know about?
It could be something you've seen in a museum, something you've read about, or it can be even a more recent artifact, something that maybe is in your family, something that is important to you that has a story behind it that you would like to share. For example, I don't know, you could have had a cool gay uncle who did some cool shit and you have their watch and you want to share it.
So head over to our fancy new website, queeratlast.com, and you can submit the story and the artifact using our online form, or get to us on any of our social media platforms.
Your artifacts have a chance of being shared on our website and our social media, and even in future episodes, with a shout out if that's something you're comfortable with. We're going to call this whole project the Queer Collection. Get involved, we'd love to hear from you.
Now, back to Catherine deep in the limerick mines.
Okay.
I'm so excited. I'm ready.
This one, actually, if you have a drink in your hand, you might want to raise it.
Okay. Got my coffee, I'm ready.
To the Mimbler, Tove Jansson, a toast. On life and love, she has taught us the most. Let your loves walk and wander, they'll return, their hearts fonder. Write in code, and don't give up the ghost.
Oh, that's so cute, Catherine. Are you kidding me? That's so cute.
It's very cute.
Oh, that's my favourite so far. That's
you say that
hands
every
down
time.
my favourite. But this time I mean it.
It's hollow.
Yeah, those are the times I'm lying through my teeth, Catherine. But this time. Oh,
Yeah,
cute. That's a wonderful tribute, and she would definitely approve of writing silly limericks about her.
Yes, I feel that in my soul and my heart.
Well, Catherine, you have your required reading, you have your homework. Next time we speak, I expect you to have caught up on all of the Tove Jansson canon.
I got some hours to put in, so I'm gonna head off right now. End call.
End call.
Thank you so much for listening to Queer at Last. For more queer history goodness, be sure to follow us at Queer at Last on Tumblr and Blue Sky, and queer_at_last on Instagram. If you've enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to us if you could share it with your pals, and make sure to like and subscribe on your favourite podcast app. Queer at Last was made by Catherine and Harriet, and our wonderful logo is by Vincent Aynard. The music is Getting It Done by Kevin MacLeod. It's something, I suppose, that society must have naturally, what's programmed, not programmed, like trained some, what's the word?
Yeah,
I think it sounds like washing.
Brainwashed?
Almost like
Conditioned?
brainwash. Conditioned.
Oh, it sounds like washing.
I was like, I know it's something to do with washing.
Oh my god.
Because you have conditioner? I don't know. I'm just saying.
That is the wildest association. Sorry.
No, let me finish the thought, Harriet.